This little fridge is a car fridge. It had a 12-volt compressor in it. It's got a little thermometer in the front here to show you temperature. It's got a thermostat which you can set, it says between -40 and +40. And it was made by a company called -40. It had a 12-volt compressor in it, a Danfoss 12-volt compressor, and it had a power supply to run it off mains. Now the people that bought this second-hand saw -40 there, and they were under the impression that this fridge could go down to -40 Celsius, which it can't. I mean, on a good day this fridge will probably go down to -15, maybe -17. That's the maximum it could reach. So they've asked me to modify this system in order to get the temperature down to -40 Celsius. So there's a few modifications I do to the system. I've removed the compressor now, and I've put this little condenser here. It's a little bit bigger than the one that was in there, and it's got a stronger fan for more airflow. This is the suction that comes out of the fridge, and this is the capillary tube. Now this system was on 134A, so I'm going to run it on a high pressure gas in order to get the lower temperature. And in order to do that, the liquid gas that enters through the capillary into the fridge, we have to cool that down as cold as we can in order to get to -40. And for that I make a little heat exchanger which I weld onto the suction, and when I charge it I give it a bit of an overcharge, and the liquid gas that comes out of the suction will cool the accumulator down, and will run the gas from the condenser through the accumulator to cool the liquid gas down. I'm making a heat exchanger. Now this is a copper accumulator. I cut it off with a saw here to open it, and I've drilled an extra hole in, and this is a piece of 3/16 tubing which I bent in a little spiral. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this little 3/16 pipe inside the chamber, and this side slides on that way, and then I'm going to weld this closed, and you'll have your 3/16 pipe coming out here, and this is a 1/4" fitting which I'm going to attach to the suction of the fridge. And this is how I make a heat exchanger for an ultra low fridge. This is the heat exchanger once I've welded it up. So you can see the little tank there. It's got an in and an out, and then I've got a 3/16 pipe that comes in and out. So now this little heat exchanger, if you want to look, I'm going to weld this onto the suction there. That's where it's going to go on. On this side, this will go onto your capillary inside, and from here, from the bottom of your condenser. But I'll still have to install the compressor. I've welded this heat exchange accumulator on now. I've made the suction as short as possible, so the suction is connected on, and this is the other side that we're going to connect to the compressor. And 3/16 from the inside. I've made the capillary as short as I can, so that capillary is welded onto the accumulator, and this is the 3/16 coming out the other side. Now the next step is to fit the compressor, but the whole reason behind having this heat exchange accumulator here is we want to try and achieve a very cold temperature inside the freezer. And the type of gas that I'm going to use, the colder you can get the liquid gas to enter from the capillary, the colder the evaporation will be inside. So once this fridge runs, I would like some ice to form on this accumulator from giving it an overcharge, and that will cool it down. But once I work, once there's ice on here, it will build frost and leak water. So my intention is to build a little chamber around this. I'm going to bend this further in closer, put it closer to there, but build a little chamber here. So this is enclosed inside some insulation, so there won't be any ice forming on it, and this will be insulated. I've mounted the compressor on and I've connected the high side pipe on. Suction I haven't done yet. I've put a little Schroeder valve on here just to blow through a little bit of 404 gas to make sure that this is open. And then I've made this little sheet metal cover that's going to cover this heat exchanger. I've made a hole where the suction is going to go through so that I can insulate it once it's running. Got this fridge working, but the coldest temperature I could get was -28. The capillary is too small, so I've cut this capillary off and I'm going to put a thicker one in, which I have to run inside. So in order to do that, I've cut some of the panels open. That's where I'm going to join the capillary on, and I'll seal it up again. Okay, I've put 2 capillary tubes in right next to each other, which I've joined there. This bit I will fill up with polyfoam, but I've closed the panel up and the capillary runs inside. Got the 2 capillaries coming out next to each other here. The existing one down there will cut off, and I'll join these 2 on that piece of 316 pipe there. There we got the thermometer showing -32 Celsius. Not quite a -40 I thought it was going to be, but there it's all together. Compressor is running, and of this heat exchanger I've filled it up with some polyfoam and insulating it, and there we go. I did the wiring, and there we got a super cool little freezer. It's an hour later. It's going towards -34 now, so maybe -40 is still within reach. It took 1.5 days, but looks like we're reaching our goal of -40.